God is telling you that He has not forgotten about you. God is telling you that He has not given up on you. The question is, why have you given up on yourself? There is so much that God is preparing for you. There is so much that you have to achieve in this life with the life that He has given you. I know it is tough right now. I know you are going through it right now. When you look around you, I know that you're seeing nothing happening. When you look around you, I know you're facing so many challenges. I know that you have prayed, you have asked, you have cried, you have done everything in your power to ask God to show you the way, to ask God for those breakthroughs, but He seems to be so silent. I want to encourage you right now and today that God has not forgotten about you. He has not given up on you. What we have to remember is that His timing is not our timing, and His plans are not our plans. I know that sometimes it becomes so difficult to trust, right? Sometimes it becomes so difficult to be obedient, but that is what He is asking of us. And I understand that it's, so much easier said than done. I have gone through it, and so many people have gone through it. So this is my testimony to tell you that He hasn't forgotten about you. He's a God who is always on time. So I know you're praying. I know you are believing. I know you have surrendered it all to Him. And when you look around your environment, maybe you don't even see the light at the end of the tunnel. God is working something behind the scenes on your behalf. You just keep trusting. You just keep believing. I remember when I came to America to study as an international student, it's already difficult to come here, right? It's already hard to study in the US if you are a foreign student. But I was so blessed because my parents, my dad paid for my tuition, my dad paid for my upkeep. But sometimes things happen, right? Where we don't understand what's going on. When I was almost done with my 2-year college, my father passed away. And my dream was to go on to a 4-year college so I could study architecture. I wanted to be an architectural designer so bad. See, after my father passed, I found myself in a difficult situation. I became homeless. So yes, I had dreams of studying architecture, going on to further my education with a bachelor's degree. The program that I really wanted to study, well, the university in our town, the local university, didn't have that program. The next option for me was to move to a different state, which was like 2 hours away, neighboring states. So I prayed to God. I asked God for help. I cried. I surrendered. I was obedient. I did everything I could, but He just seemed so silent. I no place to stay. I can't even study in the university that's close by. It's this challenge where I have to move to a different state. I don't even know a single person in that state. And I'm asking myself and I'm talking to God. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to give up on my dreams of becoming an architect? Choose something that I don't want to study just so I can stay within because it's easier? Like, what am I supposed to do? Please give me direction. Please help me. So, see, when my father passed, with me almost graduating from my 2-year college, I'm like, okay, Lord. So, my dream is to study architecture. I want to further my education. But then the program that I really want, the university here doesn't have it. And my next option was to move to a different state, and the state was like 2 hours away. And my question is, I don't have much, financially. How am I going to support myself at this other school? What am I going to do, Lord? What am I supposed to do? So I cried, I prayed, I asked God for help, but He just seemed so silent. And by then, since I was graduating, I was able to get a working, permit or working document for me to be able to work. I, worked, I saved money for school to move to this different state. But then, like, that just didn't seem to be enough. And then also, my living situation wasn't very good because I fell in tough times where I found myself homeless. I didn't have a place to stay. And I'm like, Lord, okay. So my dad has passed, and I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to move to this new school, how I'm going to further my education. And then I'm finding myself homeless. And it's hard to live with your fellow international students or your fellow student because they are also struggling, right? They have roommates, they have their own situation. And it was extremely, extremely difficult. So when I found this job with this lady, oh my goodness, this woman, such an amazing woman. She was God sent. I did apply to the next school, of course, to the neighboring state. I found a school, I applied, they accepted me. And now the dilemma was, okay, so I don't have a place to live here, but I have this job that I'm working. I'm trying, to raise money for school. But then also I have to find myself in this state at this school, even though it's 2 hours away and I can drive back and forth to work on the weekends. That was me planning it all out. But so when I come back to this state to work, like, what am I going to do? Because I don't really have anywhere to go. And I'm like, okay, so this is where I'm like, Lord, you have plans for us, right? You make a way when there's just no any other way. Because I would have never thought that this woman that I worked for would tell me that, look, you can go to school Monday through Friday, sort out your situation there in that state, find somewhere to stay, whatever, in that state. But when you come here to work, to continue saving money for school, you can stay with me. I'll give you a spare bedroom. Before she even said that, I said to her, I'm like, okay, let me just park my car in your complex, in your parking garage, in your driveway, whatever. Let me just park my car there and I'll just sleep. I'll wake up in the morning and work for you. And then, that was like on the weekends, to work on the weekend. And on Monday morning, I'll wake up so early, I'll leave, go to school, I'll figure it out, whatever. And she said, no, I'll give you a room, and she gave me the most fabulous bedroom. It was one of her guest bedrooms. She, she allowed me to stay to work for her like on Saturday and Sundays for 12 hours. So I'd work on Saturday for 12 hours, get off at 7 at night. I would go into this spare bedroom that was, self-contained. It had a jacuzzi. It was an all-white bedroom. And, like those beautiful Southern women, that they're those church ladies that go to church looking all fabulous with a beautiful hat matching the outfit, that kind of woman. She allowed me to stay in her guest bedroom for free while I worked. And when I rested on Sunday morning, I would do my 12-hour shift for her. And then I would leave at 7 at night and drive to Mississippi. And that's where I was. So I worked in Alabama and I'd moved to Mississippi for school. And then I would go back to Mississippi to school. But see, God works in mysterious ways. So I'm like, okay, I can just count it out like, okay, so this was the first breakthrough. He provides a place for me to stay with this woman who was my boss in her guest bedroom. Oh my goodness. I'm like, Lord, wow, this is something else. And then when I moved to Mississippi for this school, again, I didn't have a place to stay. The dorms were so expensive. Yes, I had money maybe for the first semester, but I still had weeks to wait before I started school. And one of the things that I like to do when I move to a new place is look for a church, because I like just being part of a community, being part of something bigger than myself. And when I went there, I looked for a church. I visited this church, a Presbyterian church, because I'm Presbyterian. I went there and I met this girl, and she said, "Oh, we have a very big youth group here. I think you can fit in right quite well." So she invited me. They used to meet every Wednesday. So she said, "Where are you staying?" And I said, "Well, right now I'm just all over the place. I just need a place to stay before the school starts, before the dorms open." And she said, "Okay, let's figure this out." So she invited me to this youth group. I met all the guys, all the girls and boys there. They were very kind. And the other girl in the group said, "Oh, I need a roommate. Why don't you come and stay with me?" So I ended up staying with this girl offered me a place to stay for free until the dorms opened, because I had at least some money saved up to pay for the dorms. And even though I didn't know where the next tuition was going to come from, I just, trusted God to say, you know what, Lord, I'm trusting in you. I know I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, how I'm going to pay for school, how I'm going to keep it up, but I'm trusting you. So I had a place to stay until the dorms opened, and that was a blessing to me. And these girls at the youth group told the church, like the minister and everybody, all the elders at the church, that look, we have this girl, she doesn't have a place to stay here, she needs money for school, she needs all these things. And the church, oh my goodness, the church provided for me. Let's just put it that way. They took care of me for 3 months. For 3 months. That's just how God works. I had the dream. I had the dream that, yes, I wanted to study architecture. I needed to move on with my studies or to further my education. But then I didn't see the whole staircase. And that's the thing. You don't have to see the whole plan, right? You don't have to wait until your ducks are in a row for something to work. Just take the first step and trust God that He's gonna provide for you. So I know right now that it's, sometimes, like, when you're in that space where everything is so bad, everything is so difficult, like you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, it can seem like so pointless to trust anything. But this is my testimony. I'm telling you, when you as exhausting as it is, as tired as you are, I know you are, but you have to trust that God is making a way for you. He's going to provide for you in ways that you've never seen. The church paid for my upkeep for 3 months. The girls provided for me a place to stay for free. I didn't have to pay anything. And then in the middle of it all, my mom calls me and says, well, your dad left us some money, and I just received a check from his work. And my mom helped me pay for my tuition. I was able to complete my 4-year degree. And because I had done 2 years already anyway, I only did 2 years at this school. That's all I needed. But see, the goodness of God is just amazing. So even though it was tough for me, because I still had my work in Alabama, and I was going to school in Mississippi, and still, working on the weekends, driving back and forth, that 2-hour drive was brutal. It was hard because, if you don't know this, between Alabama and Mississippi, that road is kind of like, you don't have street lights all the way between Alabama, and sometimes you have these trees and bushes and scary places that you have to drive through. And I was by myself. And when you're an international student, it's not like you have that reliable car, right? You don't have that good car. I had to drive at night, and I was praying the whole time. I was listening to K-Love. K-Love is a Christian radio station. They play music. That was kind of like my that really guided me, that kept me company. I just prayed. I said, God, just help me. Just guide me through this situation. And see, the goodness of God doesn't stop there, because it did not stop there. He protected me to be driving back and forth. He provided for me a roof, a place to stay, a beautiful place to stay, met beautiful friends, kind-hearted friends. And when I moved, of course, I had done the back and forth driving for a while, and my mom receiving a check after my father passed and helping me. And of course, I also found, part-time work at school, and I was able to work, and I finally stopped, driving back and forth. And I was only in Mississippi for 2 years. But see, I had bigger dreams. I realized, okay, I need more school. I needed to do a master's degree in architecture, but then, like, what am I gonna do? So I found, I applied to different schools, but then again, the same situation. The money that my father left, it wasn't like millions and millions of dollars. It was just a little bit to carry my mom and I through, and it did its work. It helped me, and I was so, so incredibly blessed. But then I also needed to do a master's degree, wanted to further my education. So I applied to different schools, and I was accepted at Florida A&M University. And that's where I was like, okay, oh, that's in Florida. This is in Mississippi. How am I going to get to Florida? Number one, how am I going to pay for school? Because that's a master's program and it costs more, especially for an international student. What am I going to do? But still, I said, Lord, I'm trusting in you because you have provided for me every step of the way. I know that you have my back. So I packed up my car after I graduated with at this 4-year college. I packed my car. I left Mississippi for Florida. I got to the school. I had saved up some money, at least for the first semester tuition. The dean there was able to help me find a place to stay, an apartment. I had roommates. I mean, it was fine. But still in my mind, I'm like, how am I going to pay for this? Because I really don't have the money. And, God makes a way when there's just no any other way. Come to find out, the dean says, we have assistantships. You can work at school, work for a professor, and the school pays for part of your tuition. And the school, because you're going to be working, they give you stipends, and then there are these scholarships that, people donate money and just they give you some of the money, and like things like that just kept happening and happening and happening. And of course, my mom, lived in a different country or different continent, actually. Um, she continued helping me whenever she could, but it was the assistantships, it was working for the school, it was working on campus. Like I was juggling so much plus my school work, so it wasn't easy. But God provided for me. I was almost graduating. I was in the last semester, and the dean said, look, I know we've been providing assistantships. I know we've been providing this and that, but we are not going to do that anymore because there's just no fun. There's no funding. There are no funds. And I'm like, Lord, this again. What am I going to do? And a dear friend, felt so bad for me, and they had good credit, and they ended up co-signing for me to continue my education. And when someone actually co-signs for you, that is huge. That is huge because they trusted me. We didn't know where our friendship was going to go. It's not like she was my sister or my brother or my cousin. It was a friend. And I said to God, I said, Lord, I simply don't know how to thank you. And the girl said, no, you need to finish school. You came here for a reason. You came here for a purpose. I'm going to co-sign this loan for you so you can finish school. I was so overwhelmed. I just didn't know what to do. And I'm like, God, thank you. I'm going to try my very best. I'm not even try. I'm going to, nobody just co-signs for you. That's a risk. But this girl co-signed for me, and I was able to get a loan, and I was able to a private student loan, and I was able to pay for my last semester, and I graduated. So it was God providing for me every step of the way. I just kept trusting in Him from my next step to the next step to the next step. I didn't know what to do. I just trusted Him. I said, God, I'm going to trust in you because I have bigger dreams. I know that this is not the end. I know that I'm not supposed to be stuck. So I'm going to trust in you, Lord, that you're going to help me. So I want to encourage you today. He's not done with you. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on Him because He hasn't given up on you. He is going to provide in ways that you've never imagined. You continue trusting in Him. You continue being obedient. As hard as it is, you just continue doing that because He has your back. He is working something behind for you on your behalf. Don't give up on yourself. God is telling you not to give up on yourself. Don't do it. You keep trusting. You keep praying and asking because there is a light at the end of the tunnel. He is going to make a way when there just seems to be no any other way. All right, my friend, thank you so much for watching. I hope this message has encouraged you, has uplifted you, and has motivated you. Do not give up on yourself. And if you haven't done so already, please leave a comment in the comment section below and let me know how I can pray for you and how I can encourage you. Remember, I am rooting for you and I am cheering you on, and I cannot wait to see what God has in store for you. Thank you again for watching and have a fabulous week. See you next time.